helps.
It does. Good morning. This is... I didn't hit record.
You didn't.
Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. This is Kathy for Getting Chatty with Kathy. And I just want to thank you for coming in today and listening to us getting chatty with Judd Stahaski. Did I say it properly?
You definitely did.
I have known you for quite a few years, so I figure I better be able to whip that one out. I bet you might even be able to say my original last name.
Lysick.
There you go.
There you go.
See? And like I've been a Zabo now for 12 years.
We got those nice Eastern European names, a couple, consonants and vowels mixed up a little bit.
Yeah. It makes it really easy to spell for people. Very easy.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on. We were just chit-chatting before we started the show, and you were telling me how you had a show here for 5 years.
Yeah, CJTR. We did, yeah, exactly. Shout out. We did Sundays at 11. My brother and I did the Songwriters Loft.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So during the day on a Sunday.
Yep. It was the perfect way to wake up on a Sunday playing and talking about tunes.
I'm so sad I wasn't listening then. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I bet. And like when you would play music on a Sunday morning, what was like the genre, or did you like have themes? How did you play it?
We definitely had themes. We were the idea of the show we used to do was to sort of break down things that the artist was maybe trying to say or get across, or being clever at doing so. So we grouped together songs that had something in common, say like camping or driving, or maybe even songs we did with like different time signatures.
I love that.
It was fun, and it was really good in discussion because my brother and I are musicians and we nerd out about this stuff all the time. So it was nice to put a microphone in front of us and bore people to tears with it.
Well, music and like songs, it's poetry, and it's looking through it, and there's always like hidden messages and stuff. And I find like if I'm listening in the car, sometimes I catch myself, I'm like, I didn't know that's what they were talking about there. And you have all these aha moments when I love it.
Absolutely. And that's actually why one of the reasons I like listening to CJTR, because the DJs often will talk about the music they're playing, which is lost on some other stations. And I find that that's more engaging, and that's something that we sought after for our show. So good on you, CJTR DJs. You're making it fun.
It's true. And they introduced me to so much more music. I find like when you hit up other stations, sometimes it's like the same songs, whereas every person here that's playing music, it's like all over the place.
Totally. And one of my favorite shows is Dane's show, The Capitol.
Okay, yeah.
He's hilarious for one, and also I find myself making notes in my notes app to stream and re-listen to some of the artists he's introduced me at. So yeah, it's fun.
And it makes you kind of feel like you're part of a community.
That's a good name. Community radio. They should call it that.
I wonder. Yeah.
All right. We're getting some good stuff here already.
Well, so Judd, you've been an inspiration to me in my like business world. A couple of years ago, I started my business, and you were like deep in it, doing your thing. And now I see your products everywhere. Do you want to kind of like tell us about how that all started and where you're at now?
Well, yeah, it's been a good run so far. 5 years in now.
5?
Yes. So we started in 2019, and it's so funny. I remember Oscar on The Office, if you watch it, and he tells Michael Scott's paper company that, well, you don't really start making money till 5 years in.
5.
And, yeah.
That'd be 3.
I know. No, stay with it though. Like, so we're 5 years in, and it's funny. Like things are really running a lot more smooth. We have some fantastic salespeople that work for us, and we have a good crew. We have a lot more stable logistics. I think our products are really coming into their own via like brand wise. We're getting our name out there. People recognize Cyberpunk Soda.
Totally.
We're getting lots of cool comments on the Judd sauces. I just did a bartending thing over Christmas over at Local and Fresh, and people knew what I was talking about. They were like, "Oh, I use that at home. I use a little bit of hot sauce in a Caesar, use a little bit of soda pop in a cocktail," and yeah, people loved it. So it's been a journey, and where we're at right now is a really good place to have some brand notoriety. People see our stuff and they know it's made in Saskatchewan, and they know who we are, which is super cool.
Totally cool. So I remember a few years ago you were out in Yorkton doing. No, I am so sorry, not Yorkton, Southie. Whoa. And you were
That'd be a bit of a commute.
just a bit, and you were doing like a lot of the work out there. Are you still there? Or have you made your way back to the city? How's that going?
Well, we've kind of run a bit of a hybrid right now. So anyone who runs a local business will definitely know what I'm talking about. Local businesses always help each other out, and we found ourselves in a position where we needed to raise our production amount. And if you're ever in manufacturing, you know that that's not just, it's easier said than done.
I need 100 bottles of barbecue sauce now.
Exactly. And to get the equipment to make that happen is very out of budget on a normal scale. So we ended up talking to our friends at Good Spirit Kombucha. Taylor was going on mat leave and she needed someone to cover some of the brew scheduling. So since I was familiar with the area and I had done some
brewing.
Yeah, I'd done some brewing in there. We kind of worked out a little deal, and now we're a year into it, and it's running really good. And both of us are seeing both of our businesses benefit from this arrangement. So it's still a hybrid where I'm out in Southie still doing some sauces and doing some shipping and receiving out there, and it's more of the labeling and that type of stuff, because I've got a larger space there for storage. And in the city here with Good Spirit Kombucha, I've got a much more efficient way to produce. So it's going really well.
So you guys have kind of synergies and you're working together.
There you go, synergies.
That's the word. That's my 4 years of education.
Yeah.
Well, that's so awesome. I see your products at like the grocery stores, and I just like, because I might sell your products in my gift boxes.
Yeah.
But when I see them out at the stores, I just like, I'm like, I know him. And I'm just like rooting for you always. And I just think it's really incredible what you've done.
That's, it's fine. And I appreciate that. And I do the same thing with products I know, like people who I, like, especially with like Good Spirit or other products that our sales rep has that we are familiar with. You know, if I'm at a store, I'll front their products. I'll arrange them a little nicer.
Give them a little love.
Yeah, just give them a little love.
It's true. You did actually drop over like a pack of kombucha for me. And that was the first time that I'd ever tried it in my life.
Well, welcome to the year 2000.
I know, I was like a little bit behind the curve. But you know what? It's definitely something for people to try. It's different than your usual juice or your pop. It's like a mixture. It's cool.
Yeah, Taylor says a fizzy functional alternative.
I
which
like
is
that.
I was like, that's some good wordplay right there.
Well, and honestly, like the amount of sugar I've been having over like the last well, I know you sell cider soda, but I've been like diabetic, I think, for the last few days.
Christmas baking always will do that.
It's terrible. I have a sweet tooth for sugar like you wouldn't believe. Anyways.
And I was really stoked that you were doing the type of gift boxes, because it's a nice way to sort of zoom out, have a look at what people in Saskatchewan are already producing and where you can fit in with that niche. And because you're doing with the gift boxes, you get a chance to gather these people all in one place. So it's a really neat option for people like me to get to people who may not be visible or our brand's not visible to.
Totally. I think like now that we've gone through this whole like technology shift, like the world of sales in products like food and like gifting and even like many others, like clothing, oh my god, like all of the different things, I think people's purchase patterns have totally changed.
Yeah, the way people shop, it's completely different, and it provides a massive challenge. In my former life, I was in the restaurant industry, which I can't even imagine the challenges they're going through trying to get people through the door, and with rising costs. So it's something we as manufacturers fight as well, because everything down the supply chain, everything has gone up. The way people shop has changed, and we're in a very tumultuous time for opening a small business.
Oh, I couldn't imagine. Like, I still work out of my house because I'm like fearful of rent.
Yeah, it's big. That's one thing that obviously guided us to Southie was a cheaper overhead.
Well, maybe our city councilors need to listen and make some tax rebates for us small business owners.
That sounds like a fantastic idea.
I like that. So you're small business owner on one side, musician, and I think you were on a podcast or something that I got to listen to. And you and I have something in common that we've never talked about. I love sci-fi.
Oh.
Like you were talking about Battlestar Galactica and like all of this stuff, and I'm like, he's speaking my language.
I didn't know that.
Yes, and like recently with all of this like I'm gonna say his name wrong, but David Gresham stuff going on with like the UAPs and all of this sort of stuff. I was like, Judd will be able to talk to me about this and know what I'm saying.
I haven't looked into that too much. A friend of mine, Devin, got me into researching old Hugo winning novels. So the Hugo Award is awarded for best sci-fi yearly, and it goes back to the 50s. And there are some novels I've
Dune.
never... Yeah, well, of course, Dune's on there.
Oh.
Like, I'm a big fan of the Expanse series.
Oh, yes.
So, like, it's been fun kind of getting back into some of the older stuff, even though it at times can be quite problematic, the way that they deal with things.
Racism.
And gender politics are terrible. So yes, you take that with a big grain of salt, but no, it's I
but it's
absolutely
cool to see, and like they're like doing things back then. Like I remember as a kid growing up watching like Star Trek and like all of the like Star Wars and all that sort of stuff, and we, you know, always thought, oh, that's so out of lunch. Like, that's so crazy. Those touch screens and all this stuff. And now it's like, oh, gosh, like, we're doing that in our hand now. We're living in it.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny also what sci-fi got wrong. I always enjoyed those as well. Do you remember?
Tell me.
Okay, well, Minority Report.
Okay, I love Minority Report.
So good, right?
Tom Cruise, he's a bit annoying, but he did definitely
That was a great movie, yeah, for sure.
That. Yeah.
So that was based off a short story by Philip K. Dick. I don't know if you read a lot of him.
I don't.
He is prolific, prolific, and his ideas were absolutely genius. Sometimes his characters and stories can just kind of fly off the wire. I think just because he was constantly writing and not doing a ton of editing. Anyway, but Minority Report, if you remember, they're using their fingers to sort of slide screens around and move this. Could you imagine working your job like that? Could you just like, you're pushing and you're just like gesturing wildly with your hands and you're pushing? No one would ever do that. And you would never see
balls and like
you're taking these these
what
weird
was that?
So
that's
like
DOS system, I don't know.
Can you imagine like the carpal tunnel people would get from that? Like the workplace settlements.
Like aerobics.
Yeah, it was totally.
Office.
Well, okay, actually, maybe it would be better.
Maybe we'd get healthy.
Yeah, it would be. It was a secret way to keep fit.
What was like one of your very first sci-fi shows that like resonated, or a movie? Like for me, I'll give you an example and give you some time to think about it. I loved Gattaca. Like,
Gattaca was very good. Yeah.
Oh, it was like me. And for those of you that haven't watched it, this was probably 20 years ago that it came. Jude Law and
Ethan Hawke.
Oh yeah.
And Uma Thurman.
And it was basically like your DNA wrote your life, and that's how you dated, that's how you worked, and if your lifespan was short, they would invest in you. It was just really like a neat movie that made me think, holy moly, maybe we shouldn't be sharing our health information and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's what sci-fi is great at, because they get you sort of more critical thought to things that we do now. All of sci-fi is all allegory, right? It's all just like, here's what the real issues are, and this is what your life is sort of, might have some dystopian nods to it.
Little Handmaid's Tale going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. You can talk about that for a while. I can't think of an earlier one. A couple that I really thought were fun rides that had like a lot to say, but had fun doing it, was like Starship Troopers.
Like just the funny stuff.
Oh,
that
like
they do.
the bugs blowing up and just the wild propaganda that they throw in. And like I remember getting that. It was pretty heavy, like on the nose. Like they weren't really angry at it was just all this military propaganda.
Invaders. How dare they come into our land? We must kill them immediately.
Yeah, we are superior.
It's our land.
Yeah, exactly. So there was a lot to say in that movie, but they had a lot of fun doing it. So that was one I've rewatched, and I thought it still kind of holds up.
I wonder what's going to happen with the moon. Like, because now they're, like, getting all of these, like, test ships up to the moon, and they're going to be doing a landing soon, it sounded like.
Yeah. Did you hear that? We're going to talk about the Artemis missions now at NASA.
Yes, please. I even went down to Florida, and we went to the Kennedy Space Station and checked it all out. It's incredible. You can touch a piece of Mars. They have a little piece rock, and you get to touch it. All of it, my family, we all touched it. We took a picture.
That's very cool. Okay,
It
well,
is.
that's
It
going
is.
on the list.
I think it's a really cool thing to think about, like the human species planting its seed in all these other areas.
Yeah.
If it hasn't already, I don't know.
Well, yeah, we've been doing it for a long time. Like there was the documentary called The Farthest, which is about the Voyager satellites that have been ripping through space. And so you can check those out on YouTube and stuff like that. And they're like from the 70s and 80s. Which
And they're
is
still
wild.
working
Yep.
and sending stuff back.
Pretty wild stuff.
How can they do that?
Yeah.
And a battery in my phone needs to get charged. I don't
Yeah,
get it.
exactly. Yeah,
I don't get it.
So yeah, there's lots of modern problems there. Modern
Right.
problems.
Well, I'm going to pull you back though.
Okay.
Sci-fi movie or book, or like what was that movie or something that was the one that really got you in there?
Well,
oh, you said space.
I said Starship Troopers. Yeah, I mean, there's lots of like galvanizing moments of reading or enjoying good sci-fi. Yeah, I mean, one of my that's funny. One of my favorite books is Neuromancer, which I'm literally wearing the T-shirt.
I love it. Okay, so and I have not read this. What is this?
Oh, it's the first cyberpunk book.
Shush.
It invented terms like cyberspace.
Really?
internet.
And like the style of cyberpunk.
Yeah, the author William Gibson, who's a Canadian, wrote it in
Shush.
Vancouver.
Like when? In our lifetime?
Yeah, in early 1980. It was I
Okay.
think released in 82. Shortly
It
after.
is.
Yeah, exactly. Shortly after Blade Runner, which was an amazing movie as well.
Yes.
And William Gibson got all worried. Do you think the people were ripping him? He was ripping them off. But it was. I just love the stories of he was walking around. Vancouver when it was under construction. It wasn't what it is today.
Not posh and chic.
No, it was gritty, and it was a lot of like there were a lot of construction happening and stuff like that.
Harbor work and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
And William Gibson just talks about him, brainstorming this novel or the parts of it, listening to Joy Division on his like Sony Walkman, and just like in this dystopian, construction scape.
Yeah, so you just like envisioned Vancouver, but like in a whole different dimension.
And so when I read Neuromancer, and I'm hearing about Chiba City and Chatsoba and all the other weird little places he has in there, I'm just like, that's Vancouver.
So
which is fun.
Is this your inspiration then for Cyber Soda, like the can brand name?
If you go back to like a paperback beverage company, I mean, I named it because I had I was thinking, like, I'm a big reader. Clearly, you are too. I was thinking there's always a discussion about like, wow, what do we need paper books for anyway? We can just e-read everything and do all that stuff. And sure, I have a Kindle, but
There's a time and a place for a book and a time and a place for a Kindle.
Exactly. And I was like, well, I want to have a business that's going to be around for a long time, and I want people to associate it with something solid and secure, and what's more than that, and ubiquitous than a paperback novel. So that was where I kind of pulled Paperback Beverage Company from, and then from there, it only made sense to, okay, well, I have a sub-brand of this. Well, it's almost like a book name, a genre name.
Love it.
Yeah, so that kind of fit in with how we were naming things at the time, and then cyberpunk kind of just took its own life, took a life of its own.
But it's like a perfect name for a pop.
Yeah, it was. We went through a couple names, and that one just stuck. Like we were going through, detective novels, Western stuff, and I really love sci-fi, so I was going on with that sort of genre and subgenre.
I had no idea. Yeah. This makes me like your name now so much more, and I liked it before.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And then my friend Jason Theory kind of started coming up with some of the artwork. Yeah. And then it went through a couple iterations there through a couple different artists and kind of landed where it is. Like, it's been a weird genesis of it, but it's been really fun.
I think your logo is incredible, personally. I think that, like, now that I know it's sci-fi too, I'm just like thinking of it, and like it's so much better now. Oh, that's so awesome!
And I guess a little preview for the people out there. We're relaunching our website, which has been offline for probably about a year now.
I have to say websites.
I know websites. There's a lot of great local businesses who don't have a website, and they're kind of proof that in this day and age, it's a bit of a maybe. Do you need it? Do you not need it?
Well, but now that our consumers are purchasing differently, I think that they like it. I had somebody purchase like 5 bottles of your rub once.
Oh, cool. From your website?
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
But I think it's because I was online, obviously, and I could just give it to them.
Yeah. We did an e-commerce at the height of the pandemic just to try and like keep up some personal sales. Oh God, yeah.
So much work.
So that lasted a little bit. It tapered off as I'm sure a lot of people's e-commerce did, because we were like, well, this is great, but now I'm just going to go to the store because I'm going to the store anyway.
Yeah.
And that's, to be honest, I'm more comfortable as a supplier for retail stores. That's just where
I find
that's where I want to be.
Too.
Yeah. So we will be relaunching our website, and I've got something for all you sci-fi fans out there coming soon. I don't want to talk about it now because it hasn't launched yet, but when are
you launching?
I would say probably in February.
Okay.
So coming up soon. Yeah.
Something, a little teaser you're giving us.
Yeah. So we're getting ready, and we're gonna pay a little bit more attention to our socials. We if you love our product, you probably also know that we don't post that much on social media.
You do when it's important.
Yeah. And I try to. We did some fun stuff with like the BMX guys at Rex BMX. We did like a cool BMX jam this past summer.
Cool.
So you can see some videos on there. Those guys are rad.
How did you get that going?
We were like, well, we should talk to some people who aren't in their 40s. And turns out they do stuff.
That's so cool. Smart thinking.
I was like, I'm getting plenty of support from my contemporaries, my peeps, exactly. But Soda Pop is, I want
younger generation.
Yeah, I want to skew a bit over to them.
I have to like padlock my fridge so my kids don't drink it all the time.
So that was cool, yeah, and we're gonna do some more stuff with them going
that's
forward.
So smart.
Yeah, it's fun to when you're a small business, and you've done this stuff too, where you're just like, I can kind of do whatever. I don't have. I mean, also the bad part is you are the boss, but the good part is you're the boss.
Right. You can get involved with whatever the heck you want.
Yeah. And, I mean, win or lose, you're doing it, and you're going to make those decisions. And that's, part of the excitement. Every day's kind of different. Every opportunity is different. And you have to sort of look at things from a creative perspective.
Okay, I have a funny thing. You might not have watched it yet. Did you watch the latest South Park episode about... It's like about Prime, but they do a joke about it.
Good. I'm glad they do. I'm glad they can send up that stuff. I'm about 2 years behind South Park right now.
Well, they have this like parents only version. It's like, I don't know where I just watched it, but anyways, I was howling. And once you watch it, you got to send me a text and tell me what you think, because it's like the ridiculousness of like these drinks that some kids think are cooler and stuff that aren't from local.
Okay, cool. I think that'll be very...
South Park always has a great way of shining a light on things.
I love what they do.
And it's so not like it's on the nose, like
Yeah, they can make fun of all the ultra billionaires, and I will cheer them loudly.
Yeah. Jeez. So... Regina, I remember when we were younger, did you move away for school for a little while? Like, you've lived here your whole life, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I moved away for a year.
For school?
Yeah.
And then you came back here, and then you've been here working in the industry of, like, restaurants, started your own food chain kind of brand, and you have, like, this big, like, band thing going on, too.
Well, the band stuff has taken a bit of a backseat. I still get to sit in with a few bands, and my wife Ashley and I like to play occasional gigs. And
I think that's so
cool. It's really fun. Talking to I play drums occasionally with Dustin Ritter, and he's got a great perspective on it. He's like, I'm not playing music unless it's fun. I'm not doing this as a job. I'm not doing this to make money, although it's nice to at least. And I need more joy in my life, and that's why I choose to do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I love that decision. I think more people should have that as their caveat for why they do something. Will this bring me joy?
Yes, 100%. And if you keep on doing joy, your whole life turns into a much better, joyful thing.
It becomes less about the paycheck or what is beneficial, other than you being happier with your life.
I agree.
And I think money follows that too.
Well, money is a very helpful thing to bring some joy.
Yeah, no doubt.
But I think people can see if what you're doing is real and you're doing it for the right reasons. And I think that people like to buy into that.
Totally. And you're right with about the money, because I mean, last time I tried to cash a check on Joy, it bounced.
Yeah.
My rent didn't get paid.
It does not get paid.
So, that being said, and I'm sure all the other small business owners out there will identify with that. And we work every day to try and build ourselves up, build our businesses up, and every little bit of support, every time you talk about one of our products, every time you purchase one, of course.
Like it, share it, tell the world about it.
It sounds like a bit of white noise when you're saying like and share and do that stuff, because that's what social media is telling us. But when you see your friends, your family, your people in your small city doing that, even with companies like this, like CJTR, which is a brilliant station that hosts a ton of variety. People who talk about it, ask people what they listen to, and you say CJTR, and they go, "Oh, what
is that? Tell me about it."
Exactly, and you're probably going to make a fan, because I know every time I turn the station on, I dig it.
Well, and it connects you to our community, and I think that's one thing that in this world where we are so disconnected lately, like at least this is one tool in our belt to be like a little bit closer.
Totally, and it's all of us connecting to each other to just create a big network of support.
And joy.
And joy.
Right?
There you go.
On that note, look at this. We're so good.
Yeah, well, we got off there a bit on sci-fi, and that really could have went off. That would have went
gone for a long time, too.
Especially with, we could definitely break down all 9+ books of the Expanse series, all the novellas, and we can discuss,
Did you ever do like the, we'll have to talk about another time, but like the end of the world stuff? I was a big Walking Dead fan before it was the show. I have all the graphic novels.
Yeah.
Like, I love like dystopia stuff. I think I'll survive.
I like dystopia, but I didn't really dig the zombie. It's fun to watch. I'd never watched the whole series. For dystopia, my pick is Margaret Atwood.
Which one?
Well, her series.
The 3-part series?
Yeah, the Man
Oh my
Adam.
God,
Yeah.
that's the best.
It is, yeah. So as we wind down the show, that's our recommendation.
We should
go to your local library.
I should reread it. It's been a long time.
I listen to a lot of audiobooks while I do production.
Does she read it?
No, she doesn't read it. That would be great.
Do they have all different voices, all the different people and stuff?
I don't know yet. It hasn't come through. It's always on hold. So I'll tell you when it actually comes through.
They were actually going to do an HBO series about that. They talking about. It was so good.
You know what they can do is stop making versions of Stephen King's The Stand, because we don't need any more of those.
Yeah. And it was done better before. The last one was weird.
The one with Parker Lewis in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, sorry, we talked too much. Anyways, Judd, you're going to have to come back on because we clearly have some things we love to talk about. Thank you, everybody, for listening and just joining in and being part of our conversation. If anybody wants to join the show and have something that they want to share, I'm always looking for guests. Feel free to reach out. You can find my information at Kathy, or I'll just give you my email, Kathy@qcgifts.ca. Thanks so much and take care out there. Bye now. That Margaret Atwood series.
Oh, it's so good, right?